What's going on? This is Kareem from DJBooth.net, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a quick rundown video review of the new Denon DJ MC6000MK2. So what we have here is the second iteration of the original MC6000. It was a really solid controller. It was very well built, and it was really a mobile DJ's workhorse type of controller, and it was very versatile. It came bundled, I believe, with Virtual DJ, and you can use it with Tractor. There was mappings available for that, also for Mix Vibes and probably your other favorite software out there. And what Denon has done was built on the success of the original, and it didn't change much and deviate from the successful mobile DJ style platform that the MC6000 really execute nicely for. So what they've done here is, with the new version, they've went and branded it with Serato. So it comes with the Serato DJ intro. It does not come with the full 4-channel version of Serato DJ, but we'll get onto that in a little bit when we touch on the setup. But it is more Serato oriented. It has a nicer, cleaner layout overall. It has metal top jog wheels, and a few other things have switched around just to make it a more easier controller to deal with and to use. And what we have is the same build quality as the original. It's very sturdy. It has the same footprint. So you're getting this very solid all metal construction. All of your knobs are really sure-footed and metal post. So you know you're getting a really, really long-lasting piece of gear. The first versions of the MC6000 have lasted throughout the years, so there's no reason why the MC6000MK2 won't do the same. Again, another reason why it's great for mobile DJs is because of this durability and because of this small form factor, making it easy to take with them on the go. So on setup, the setup is really easy with all Serato DJ controllers. Setup is always simple as almost plug and play. You get your CD in the box for this, so you can load the CD into your machine for Serato DJ intro, and you also get your drivers there for Windows machines, but you don't have to use it. You can also go directly to the website. You can download Serato DJ intro there, or you can go to the Denon DJ website, get your drivers and your software from them as well. So you can go there, get your software, plug in your USB cable in the back of the unit, and plug in your computer, and then your speakers, your output, and also your headphones on the front of the unit, and you're pretty much ready to go. All you need is your computer and the music within your computer in order to start playing. You also have the full standalone mixer function on this unit, so you can use this without software. It always has to have the power cable plugged in, so make sure you have a wall socket nearby so that way you can plug this in. It takes a lot of power, and reason being because you have a matrix of different inputs that you can use on the different channels along with your software channels and your virtual channels as well. So you can mix and match, and that is another great thing for definitely mobile DJs and guys who are gigging out every single week. So also with the setup, everything is easy. Again, plug and play. You don't have to do anything within the Serato preferences. All you have to do is just plug and play, and you're off. So great build quality. Setup is fairly easy. So now we're going to take a look at the front and rear panels, and we're just going to also run down all of the features that are here on the MC6000. Okay, so first up, we're going to take a quick look at the rear and front panels of the MC6000MK2. All the way to the left, we have your DC only, your power adapter. You have to plug this into the wall at all times because it's a very powerful unit, takes a lot of power, and it is a standalone mixer, which we're going to get to in a second. You also have your on and off switch here. This is to turn it on and off, of course. Your USB connection. And you also have a USB audio out that you can record through. You can record channel 3 and 4. You can record just the mic. And in order to record your full setup, however, you'll have to purchase the full-out Serato DJ upgrade over Serato DJ Intro, which this comes with, or you can just use one of your other outputs and bring that over to a recorder. But if you just want to use internal recording through your computer, you'll have to go through the Serato DJ software. Next up, you have your booth balanced output, which is 1/4" TRS. Then you have your balanced master output. These have separate volume control knobs, by the way. and this is XLR, and you can change this to be either in stereo or mono mode depending on how your speakers are set up or what you want to do there. Then you have an unbalanced RCA as well, and then you have your ground post for your vinyl or record decks, which can be used on lines 3 and 4, which you can see here, just switchable between phono and line. Then you have 2 more lines, which is line 1 and line 2. And then you have your 2 microphones here. Your mic 2 is the 1/4 inch model, and your mic 1 is the combo jack of XLR or your TRS, whichever one you want. Okay, so in the front, we'll flip it over. Right here in the front, we have to the left your monitoring section. There's your headphone jack. It's only the 1/4 inch. It's not the mini model, so you have to use your adapter here. Then you have your level, so that way you can turn your monitors up or down. Then you have a pan, which pans between Q or what's in your master output. And then you have a split Q on and off. When this is on, one of your ear cups will play what's coming out of the master, and your other ear cup will play what is behind the Q. Next up, you have your microphone EQ. Each microphone has their low, mid, and high EQ right here in the front. And then you have a microphone echo level. So you can actually put echo on your microphone. And the buttons for that is on the front. We'll show you that when we get to what's on the front panels. And then we have the crossfader controls all the way to the right, which include a crossfader curve control knob, so you can adjust the curve. And then you have a channel 1, 2, 3, and 4, which can be selected to the side of the fader you want them to represent. Or you can switch them in the middle and not use the crossfader at all. All right, folks, so here it is. This is the Denon MC6000MK2. And just to touch up on more of the setup, again, this only comes with Serato DJ intro. So we're going to test this with the full 4-channel version of Serato DJ. So it comes in the box with only enough to power your first 2 channels, and you don't get many effects. But at least you get something that you can get started with, and you will be able to use your 2 channels worth of mixing. But this is a full-featured, a really nice professional style controller, so we really advise you to go out and spend the additional $129 upgrade fee in order to get the full Serato DJ version. Or if you're going to use whatever other software you're going to use, like Virtual DJ or Tractor, because this is an all-out MIDI controller, and you can map it or use some of the mappings that you may find out there in order to use it with the software of your choice. But whatever you do, make sure you do get that full featured software. So get your Virtual DJ Professional, your Tractor 2 Pro, just to make sure you're unlocking all that this machine has to offer. So first up, we'll just go with the mixing functions all the way down at the bottom. We have your crossfader. The crossfader is a standard alpha type fader, as are your line faders. Your line faders have a lot more resistance to them, really nice for mixing, but the crossfader is pretty good for scratching. There is a rather long 2mm cut-in distance on this fader, so it takes a little bit getting used to if you're used to doing more scratching than normal DJs would prefer. But this is going to work for most of your scratching needs and for most of what you want to do. Again, this is a mobile DJ workhorse. It's not really made for all your all-out scratching routines, but it can pull them off. But there is a 2mm cut-in lag distance here that you will notice when you're using the machine. Just worth a heads up. Next up, you have your line level LED meters. You can switch these to show what's in channel 1 or 2. You can switch them to show what's in 3 or 4 or what's in the master using this switch here in the middle. Then you have your Q section for your headphones, so you can listen to what's going on in all 4 of your different headphones. You have a crossfader link, which allows you to transmit audio or video depending on if you have that mode in Serato DJ or in Virtual DJ, whatever you're using. And you are able to use your video mixing along with your audio mixing as well. Then you have your 3-band EQ on each side. You don't have any filters for these hardware filters, but you do have the software filters. These are these knobs up here, so that way your virtual decks can benefit and can use filters. We thought there was going to be no filters for these decks, but there are filters, and they're up here at the top using these 2 knobs. So you do get some type of filtering available to you, and it does work pretty nicely. You have full band EQs, kills that can kill all the way for your low, mid, highs. Then you have your gain knob all the way at the top. These are really nice knobs. They really have a nice sure-footed feel to them. They're all have the good construction in them, and they're all bolted down really solidly. So you have really good construction all the way throughout. Next up, you have your transport section, your transport controls. You can use this section here in order to navigate through your files, and you can also change the different views and exactly how Serato is going to look on screen. So, for example, you can go up and down through your track list, and then you can load a track using the load buttons on the top. So we can load as many tracks as we want. And you can choose the deck select button in order to load your other decks with tracks. So depending on what deck you have active on that side at the time is where your load buttons will place the track. Next up, you have your panel, which allows you to switch through the different panels that you have on board in Serato. So you can see your effects, your samples, and your files, however you want to view everything that's going on. Next up, you have view, so you can change the view of Serato and how all the waveforms are played out and how big and small everything is. So you have a lot of options in Serato, one of the big features of Serato DJ. Next up, you have your area. This will allow you to change the area of navigation in which you're in. And then you have a list button as well that will change your list to your art form style or back to your normal long text list. Next up, all the way at the top, you have your matrix. These matrix allow you to select the different inputs that you have on the rear of the computer or change them back to virtual. So your channel all the way to the left, which is channel 3, can do line 1, 3, 2, and also the PC connection. Your channel 2 can do line 1 and the PC connection as well. Then you have line 2 and PC connection for channel 2. And for channel 4, you can do lines 1, 2, 4, and then of course virtual. So that's really cool to use. You can switch them on the fly. So whatever you have plugged in the back, you can always mix it in. So it's really nice to know that you can easily mix between your virtual and your physical decks anytime you really want to. This is a really good feature because virtual or mobile DJs actually want to have that type of versatility because they might play something back from CD. They may play back most of their set from using your software, or they may even get someone that comes up to them that wants them to mix something else in that may be on their small device, and they can just easily plug it into one of the inputs and start mixing right away. So very versatile in that regard, and cool to see they have the input matrix on this unit. Okay, so next up we're going to take a look at the decks themselves. You have your transport controls on the bottom. Your buttons are nice and rubberized and they have an illumination to them so you can tell when they are ready to go or when they're in use. Then you have your pitch bend buttons that allow you to bend the pitch to get an accurate beat matching on the really minute minimum scale. Then you press shift and these buttons and you'll be able to fast forward and rewind through the track. Then you have your sync button all the way to the left. You can turn sync off with the shift and sync. Then you have your pitch sliders, which are now situated to the outsides of the decks. This wasn't the case in the original MC6000, but this is a nice layout improvement. It doesn't crowd where the pitches are with any other controls, so you're ready to go in that regard. Next up, you have a key lock button, so you can keep the key even though when you're changing the pitch. And then you have a pitch range if you press shift in the key lock, and you can change the range between whatever is in Tractor at the moment, plus or minus 8. And you also have 16, 50, 8, 16, and 50. Next up on the left side, you have your microphone controls, your mic 1 and your mic 2 volume control knob, mic 1 and 2 on-off switches, so that way you can turn them on and off really easily. Ducking, that way you can make them lower the volume of everything else when your mic is in use. Then you have your Echo 1 and Echo 2, and this is to correspond with the Echo knob on the front that allows you to put a little bit of echo into the microphone that is in use. All the way on the right side in the same type of section is the master volume control knob. and you also get a booth volume control knob, and you can assign the booth to either whatever's coming out of the master or to your individual channel inputs. So this only works with the inputs that you have on the rear of the machine. It will allow you to hear exactly what's coming out of those only through the booth and not through the master. So it's really cool if you want to monitor and not let everybody else hear what you're actually about to do next or what you're preparing to do, but only where the booth speakers are will be able to hear that. Again, this doesn't work that way in the software. In the software, you have to keep it on master if you're using virtual decks. But if you're using real decks or something on the outside that's plugged in, you will be able to monitor them separately using this type of assign knob for your booth output. Really cool feature to have. Next up, we'll go back to the decks, and the decks include a vinyl button, so that way you can either use them in vinyl mode or pitch bend mode. These feel really similar to the original Jog Wheels on the original MC6000, except they have this new metal top to them, but they're very high in resolution. Very responsive. My only gripe with them is that they're a little bit on the small side. So if you're used to using bigger size controllers or bigger size jog wheels or real vinyl, it'll take a little bit of time getting used to. But again, this isn't like a scratching machine. It's more built for the rigors and abuse of the mobile DJ and the guy who's just going to really kind of go out there and use this as it is, not really trying to win any type of turntablist competitions or anything like that. So really high resolution jog wheels. They feel really nice to the weight. They're touch sensitive. They don't have any type of push top to them or anything. And the sides can be used for pitch bending and minute changes when you have it in vinyl mode, or you can have it completely in jog wheel mode, and that way you'll be able to just adjust it for the correct pitch you want. Next up, you have your deck select, 1 and 3 on the left, 2 and 4 on the right. And then you have your hot cues and samples, and you have your looping section right here. It's nice and small and compact in order to keep the size of the unit down. It keeps the weight down, and it's good for someone who wants a really compact setup. Now, this is a Serato DJ controller, and you don't see those big 16 performance pads that all the other controllers have out there. So if you're the type of person that wants all 8 of your hot cues and all 8 of your samples on the roll and ready to go at any time, and you also want the slicer function and all of that, you're going to want to use a probably different controller than this, because this only has your loop roll and your slip function, and it has only 4 hot cues or 4 samples to view at a time, which is usually more than enough for a mobile DJ or for most users. But for those who are using like a lot of button mashing and they're using a lot of performance pad type of application in their DJing, this might not be for them. This is, again, a no frills, really heavy duty workhorse type of controller that we're working with here. So you have your hot cues. These are rubberized buttons similar to the Transport, a little bit smaller, but they're really responsive. They work really nice, and they also have a backlit to them to let you know that they're active. And when you press the button again, it goes into sample mode, and you'll be able to see where you have samples lit up right here on the pads themselves. Next up, you have your auto loop or your manual in and out loop, and you can adjust this auto loop, and you can also change the size of the auto loop using the plus and minus buttons on the side of the auto loop. So you guys seen me do this a million times. I will do a quick demo just so you can see it one more time. Let's put a track on here from the start. Also got slip mode here. And we got your sample banks.
Is it rabbit season? Carrot
And we also have the roll function.
Niggas, it's the worst for you niggas. These labels ain't got no type of thirst for you niggas. No attention is a blessing and a curse for you niggas.
You also have your effects controls all the way up at the top. This is standard stuff here. You have your FX Bank 1, FX Bank 2. You have your 3 different controls for your effect percentage ratio, and you can turn them on and off using these buttons here. You can also shift and use the on and off buttons to select a different effect, and then you have your beats counter to change the beat that the effect occurs on. Both sides you have here, and you can assign your effect module to any one of the different channels that you see here. This is the channel assign, and then there's a tap button so that you can get the effect just right. Okay, so in conclusion, the Denon MC6000MK2 is a nice, worthy upgrade and update to the original. It's really solid, really well built, just like the original. It's got the same solid metal chassis all the way around. All of your knobs are bolted down, so everything is gonna stay put and it's gonna last a really long time. So you got that nice durable build quality. It also works as a true standalone 4-channel mixer. So you have a controller and you also have your mixing functions right here on board as well. You have your lots of inputs and output options for mobile DJs, including your 2 mic inputs with full 3-band EQ and echo option, talk over option, and then you have your volume control knobs individually on the top for each one. So that's a big, huge plus for those who don't want to carry an extra mixer with them when they need more than 1 mic input, because the MC6000MK2 has you covered. There are 2 mic inputs right here on board with the MC6000MK2. Also, you get the intuitive controls for effects, samples, hot cues, and loops. So you don't have your big fancy pads. It's not really for performing type of bouncing around DJs. This is more of a workhorse. It's only like what you really need, and you're probably only going to need access to 4 samples or 4 hot cues at a time when you're playing out, depending on your style, of course. But for most mobile DJ style, that type of functionality is enough, and it keeps the size of the unit down, and it keeps everything nice and compact and in a cool little package. On the downside, you have a rather small jog wheel. So the size of the jog wheel is pretty small when compared to other jog wheels or other turntables or decks out there that you see. So it takes a little getting used to. They are high resolution, but the small size of the jog wheel does take a little time getting used to. Also, it doesn't come with the full-out Serato DJ version of the software, so you'll have to pay that upgrade fee in order to unlock all 4 of your decks, and you're probably going to want to do that on this controller. Whether you're using Serato or you're going to use Tractor or you're going to use Virtual DJ, you're going to want to get the full version of the software. That way you can unlock all of your effects, all of your cue points. It just goes along with this professional style controller, and it just makes more sense that you would want a professional software to go along with it. So for more on the full written review, you can head on over to www.djbooth.net/DJS. You can also hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.